Welcome to the program. I am very delighted that finally we we join and we will discuss very important issues today. We, you know, we have to think what is going wrong, what is happening wrong with Azerbaijani society. We see that in the region there are many developments. We see Ukraine, Georgia, Armenia. We see that there are some processes. Azerbaijan is becoming from Caucasian country sliding towards Central Asia. And Ilham Aliyev says that our place is in there, not in Europe. No, our place is not in the South Caucasus. Our place is somewhere, he says, Turkic wall. Of course, it is attractive to some people that, oh, we are Turkic people. Yes, we are Turkic people, but our place is Europe, the place that have been chosen by our founding fathers. Our founding fathers saw place of Azerbaijan in Europe, in democracy. That's why we set up the first democratic institution, Azerbaijani parliament, theater, universities, and now we have uh, we have to see what we can do now, because today it's deadlock. Sometimes we think that what is wrong? Why nothing happens? Because Vladimir Lenin was saying that there are decades then nothing happens, but there are days then decades happen. We have to think how we can make days that decades happen, and I'm sure that we can do it. Before this program, we spoke about the same issues in Azeri language, and I've seen enormous support of the people. We see people say that finally we see people who think differently, who think out of box, who propose society the ways how to get out of this deadlock. And with Nahid, we worked together in the Foreign Ministry and Department of Human Rights and Democracy. It was dead department, really dead department. When I came to the department, it was devastated. Even the cabinet was devastated. There were the worst computer in the foreign ministry was in that department. The worst furniture was there. There were rats, on the rats holes in the room of the department. But within the short period of time, we made this department the most powerful department of the ministry. Uh, Nahid is known to be someone who thinks out of box, and we were, while we in the foreign ministry, were trying to figure out what can be done. We're trying to propose to the government, to the regime, what could be done to change situation, to make our image better. Unfortunately, we were not heard, but we managed to test something, and it was successful. It was successful. It was success story, and uh, this is young channel. Only 2 weeks ago, I started, more or less 3-4 times a week to speak. Mostly our programs are in Russian, Azeri language. The first time we test and we speak to English-speaking audience. We hope that you would like this program. We hope that you will support us. And Nahid, I give the floor to you. Please, just go on.
So maybe I will start with a short introduction. So possibly that someone watched this video may not know who I am. So I am from Azerbaijan, and I'm and a diplomat in exile, if I can say that one. So I was born in the south of Azerbaijan. It's a region called Lenkaran. And then I got my first master at Azerbaijan Diplomatic Academy, and then the academy transferred me to Geneva, where I studied in think tank, I think funded by NATO. It's called GSSP, Geneva Center for Security Policy. And then I came to the Netherlands as a diplomat, was posted by government, and worked here. While I was working in the Netherlands, I managed to graduate from both universities, Erasmus University and Amsterdam University at the same time. So basically, I pursued 2 master degrees at the same time. And currently, I'm working as a supply chain excellence analyst for one of the biggest American companies in the Netherlands. I don't want to mention names. So I would expect, Arif Mellim, we would basically kind of discuss the issues rather than I'm giving a monologue. And so
Yeah.
because it's in English, so discussion would help and ignite different thoughts.
Yeah.
And also please feel free to how to say warn me if I'm speaking very fast, because usually I do speak very fast, and
Yeah.
if you find me speaking very fast, just let me know. I will make it a little bit slower. So you mentioned so the question is
What is
what's
going wrong?
wrong?
What is going
Exactly.
wrong with Azerbaijan society? Why we
I
are
would
in this deadlock?
I would say what has gone wrong, not is going wrong. What has gone wrong, because what's the current situation is, this is basically the result of so many things happened in the past, right? So if we look at history, and first thing we would see that when Azerbaijani society was very politically inclined, we made a lot of mistakes there. And unfortunately, we're still making the same mistakes, expecting different results. So one of the mistakes when in 2003, when we started this kind of demonstrations in Azerbaijan, all our political activities was occupied by personal egos, not by ideas, but the personal egos. So we were saying that, you know what, not the ideas, not the new way of thinking gonna solve the problems, but the people will, the person, Etbar Mammadov, Isagambar, gonna solve your problem. And we basically put a lot of responsibility on the people. And what happened is the government can easily buy those people. And indeed, the government bought some of these people by money, by some, I don't know, other tools. And then the hope just was demolished. And once the people lost the hope through the years, not only once, but for so many times, and the people basically are not interested in the political changes. And the people, they are, I think they believe more in clerics, the people who basically, I don't know how to call falchi in English, I'm sorry for that, but they believe more in them rather than to political leaders, right?
Fortune tellers, I think.
Fortune tellers,
Yeah.
exactly, right. So people, they decline to believe more to those people rather than to political leaders, right? So we have to think what we are doing wrong now. Whatever we are doing, we are not gaining people trust, because we are all the time trying to convince the people that you are wrong. You are not fighting as a people. You are negligent towards your own, I don't know, future or
Even
your own
present.
fate.
Even present.
Yes, yeah, exactly. This is what we are telling the people. But
Yeah.
what we should think is, what we as a politicians, or I don't know, and people in opposition parties, what is we are doing wrong. So we are losing the trust of the nation. So let me tell you what we are doing wrong. We are replicating what the government does, what the ruling party does, exactly the same way. So we fail to present alternative way of thinking, alternative values. Look at how Ilham Aliyev does it. Ilham Aliyev. So let me put the question a different way. Why we should change the regime? Very simple reason. Because we have corruption, right? Because we have our media works with censorships, right?
Absolutely.
Because the Ilham Aliyev uses trolls in social media to blackmail other people, right? Whatever Ilham Aliyev does to protect his position, the political leaders in opposition parties do exact same thing. And
Absolutely.
then they're saying that, hey, you know what, we are different, right? And people should believe. No, people shouldn't. People cannot trust you.
We should make people understand that corruption is money stolen from them, from their children, from their grandchildren. It's not just somebody built a big hotel, or his family bought some property in the United Kingdom. This is your money.
Yeah.
You should understand. People should understand that. Not just say that, oh, he's a president, he's prime minister. No, this is your money. You live poor life. You live with problems. Your children don't eat enough because of the corruption. So that people, because of poor education, your children cannot develop and get higher degrees and raise in their careers. That is why it's not just general issues. Every issue, every problem is your problem. You should understand that when we talk about these issues, it's not because we want just to blame and shame someone, Aliyev or his family. No, because this money belongs to me. This money belongs not to you. This money belongs to my children. This money belongs to your children. And if we don't fight, our children will suffer. And every individual Azerbaijani citizen should understand and comprehend this, Thank you. Just go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, indeed. So I think, first of all, if we want really the society comes or follows our idea, we have to be very clear in our ideas, right? What's the difference between our values, right, and the values that the government presents, right? So what alternative we are offering, and we have to be consistent in that alternative, and we have to be dedicated. So we cannot say, the corruption is bad while doing the same thing. We cannot tell that, hey, censorship is bad at the same time doing the same thing. So we have to be very clear first why the regime is bad. So as you said, the people lost the connection between the economic situations and the political systems. The people, most of the time, they don't know how politically made decisions impact their life, the daily life. So when I said this example in Azerbaijani language, so the early marriage is one of the biggest issues in Azerbaijan, right? So if we think a little bit more, we can see that there is a connection between the early marriage and the political situation in the country. So the reason why the parents, they are more eager or more willing to let their daughters to marry at the early age, because it's economically so difficult to raise them up.
For the family. Yeah, it's
exactly.
A big burden. Yeah.
And why it's a big burden of the family? Because we don't have manufacturers, we don't have economic activities in the country. And why we don't have those economic activities in the country? Because the rule of law is not satisfied, is not provided, right? And that's the reason why the companies or the investors that are not coming to Azerbaijan, they're not investing in Azerbaijan because there is not a single law that can protect them.
Absolutely, yeah. No serious investor will invest in the country unless he knows that his investment will be protected. There are legal system that if there is a problem, legal system will protect him. And if it doesn't exist, nobody will risk. Only like lucrative businessmen who want to come for 2 weeks and get big money.
But it's not going to be something serious business, right? It's not going to be long-term business. It's going to be short-term business. Because of the short-term stability, they can gain something and then they will leave immediately once they have their gains. But I'm talking about the long-term investments, which are not going to come to the country unless we have a rule of law.
Yeah.
And so once this connection well explained, and at the same time we offered alternative and showing respect to our own alternatives, then I think the people will start showing some trust. So the only problem we have, the dictatorship is not a problem. The fear is not a problem. The only problem we have in this country is lack of trust towards politicians in this country, because the fear can be eliminated by trust. If people start to trust politicians, they will follow their ideas.
Yeah, I do agree.
But unfortunately, we don't do that. So I brought an example that the people from Africa, they took enormous risk in a small boat floating on the Mediterranean Sea, coming from Africa to Europe, because the person has a trust that he will be happy in this land.
Yeah.
That's the reason
Even
why
if
he
he dies,
takes.
even there is a high risk that he might die.
Yes, exactly. But we cannot deliver this message, and we cannot gain the trust of the people in Azerbaijan, and then we're blaming them, we're shaming them, saying that, you know what, it's not our problem. So the regime is very brutal, and then the people basically they're scared. Yes, but how can we get from this deadlock, as you said? By giving them the hope, earning their trust. If we can be successful in this one, believe me, the Aliyev regime will be destroyed within a couple of months, I would say.
Yeah, thank you. I do agree. Night Bey, we see that really it appears that Azerbaijani society is just sleeping. Some people say that no, uh, sleeping lion will one day will
Waken up.
raise and will crush everything. No, we don't want somebody to crush everything. We want
No.
normal system where we can speak openly. We can try to do something, and we have potential. I am sure that there are lots of young people in Azerbaijan who really want to see changes. People say that you just let's see the comments. Azerbaijan is ruled by a criminal mafia. Tyrant and kleptocrat Aliyev has turned Azerbaijan into his family monarchy. Absolutely, but to change it, we have to be proactive. Unfortunately, people, not unfortunately, probably it is the time came that we have to do something, but because people lost the trust in a position. I have many brilliant friends and very really fighters who devoted all their life for the fight, but if it doesn't give a result, it means that we do something wrongly. We have to rectify our mistakes and think how we can do differently.
So Armen,
Yeah,
there's a difference between fighter
yeah.
and political leader.
Okay.
In Azerbaijan, it's all mixed up, right? So whenever we say someone is fighter, for example, Tofik Yagublu,
Yes,
he's a brilliant man, right? He's a fighter. He's really a fighter, right? But for some people would consider Tofik Yagublu also a political leader. No, he's not, right? We have to define what we mean by political leaders. So leaders are those with a different vision for the future, right? And with the capacity or skills to convince the people, to make them follow that ideas. So we are talking about the ideas, about not the people, because this is the ideas what makes the leaders unique.
absolutely.
We take the ideas from the equations, right, and we put people or the man or the person into that equation, and then we are building enormous egos around that person. And then what happens? The regime comes and takes that person,
Absolutely.
and then, I don't know, seduces that person in a different way. Then the person will get, I would say, out of the way, right? So ideas what makes leaders leaders. The question is, do we have leaders with great ideas?
There is good saying that the leader is the man who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way.
Exactly.
I like this phrase very much.
So the question is, if we put a lot of emphasis on ideas, the question is, do we have leaders with great ideas? The answer is no. And then how can we
Right.
expect?
We are we can do this. I see that there are people writing in French. Bonjour, merci beaucoup pour l'information en Azerbaïdjan de politique régime dictatorial. Il y a ma livre. Merci beaucoup, c'est très gentil de faire ce commentaire. On va essayer à la prochaine, peut-être on peut faire un programme en français aussi, avec plaisir. Hein? Yeah, it's nice that people watch us from France, and I'm happy that people write it us in English, in French, in Russian also. I saw somewhere. It's nice, and I see that lots of people follow and lots of people watch. It's important. I was thinking that in English it will be probably not interesting. Not many people speak English, but I see that people are watching. It's
also there can be some benefit as well, so people can practice the English, the listening skills,
of course.
right? So, yeah, I mean, this is the point. So we have first put ideas up front. This is our ideas, right?
Okay.
This is what we believe that we should do. This is what we believe that will save us. This is what we believe that would make us live in a different life.
Yeah.
But what we are saying that, you know what, this regime is so dictatorial, so this regime is so corrupt. Every single person in Azerbaijan knows how bad the situation is. If you go to one, I don't know, the furthest region in Azerbaijan and the furthest village in Azerbaijan and pick some random guy, right? And just present the microphone and ask about the regime, the person knows exactly what's going wrong because the person knows from his own fridge. The person comes into home and opens the fridge,
and they know
exactly,
what is the real problem.
Exactly, they see that there's nothing, and they know how bad the situation is, right? But at the same time, you are just you are loading this hatred instead of hope for the change. You are loading this hatred to the person, and then in retrospect, you expect that the person will follow you because you say it. It's not going to work. And this is what we should change.
Right, I see that recently they even don't talk about the problem. They only talk about war in Ukraine.
Yeah. It's safest for them, right?
You know, people open their programs to see something different, and people open the YouTube programs. Their discussion about war in Ukraine, that Russia did this, Ukrainian army, repulsed, and they counterattack, their attackers, and that's it. Unfortunately, they even don't speak about problems of the country, daily problems. They just became all political analysis.
So I was most of the times I do read comments like that, Nahid Bey, why you are not saying anything about Israeli-Palestine conflict, or why you are not criticizing Christianity and blah blah blah. So the things that actually comes to my mind immediately is, does it impact Azerbaijan? Does Israeli-Palestine issues has any impact on ordinary Azerbaijani living in this situation? Not. If not, why should I devote my resource to that? If you want to see my position is, yes, Palestine should be a democratic country or independent country, right? But for me, what matters is you should live in a more prosperous life.
Yeah,
this is what matters to me, and that's the reason why I share my thoughts, because this is the only issues that keeps me coming to social media and sharing my thoughts.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you very much, Naid, for your thoughts. There were like questions I just prepared for you. Firstly, I'm happy that so many people make comments in English and French even. It is really encouraging. It gives us the the energy, and we understand that we have to continue. Maybe we can do it, because I cannot find many people who would make such a discussion. But I see that many people say that it's a great that you started programs in other languages. We talk, in Azeri part of the program, we talked about boxes and fears.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Azerbaijani society is very much boxed in all dictatorships. But strange thing that both dictatorship, ruling, system is also in the box. So that, like they live in their box. They prefer to be in the security of the box, and they know the box is controlled by one person, one family, Ilham Aliyev. But they believe, okay, I am in this, I am in the safety of the box. If I stay in the box, I keep silent, I don't criticize, I will enjoy all the pleasures inside the box. In another box is just the rest of the society. It's also box. There are boxes, different boxes, like mental boxes, religious boxes, beliefs, beliefs that are wrong beliefs, like early marriages, and each time the government gives new kind of boxes, like we are part of the Turkic world. Europe is about LGBT, and that's why it's not us. We should be part of the Turkic world. Nobody says not, but firstly we have to be in the democratic world. We want our people to live. So, and everybody keeps in their, happy within the box. They say, okay, maybe it is not, we don't have all the freedoms, but there is security of the box. And there is like saying that it is traditional, like min şükür buna da min şükür. Thanks to God that we have this day, Probably this is the biggest, box for us, Unfortunately, we always say, even if you ask someone on the street of Baku who lives in the most miserable life, who hasn't money to provide his family, you say, how are you? And says, min şükür buna da min şükür. Thanks to this day, Why you should thank your miserable life? You should protest this life. Are you happy with the life you have? No. But why you say that thanks for this? No. And there is another box, like now each time people start questioning the government about something, they say, oh no. Otherwise, if we do something, we will end up becoming like Syria, like Ukraine. But unfortunately, Azeri government narratives are used also in Georgia. Georgians also say that, oh, the West wants to take us on the way of Ukraine, and that we will have the war. No, regimes like this try to create the boxes. They try to put us to the boxes. They try to put you and me to the boxes. But the courage is, just to breaking these boxes and try to do something differently. Nahid Bey, I see that you are tired. If you have something,
yes. So probably it's gonna be the last thing for today. Yeah, I'm actually indeed I'm very tired. So the way I see it is, let's take the society, the nation, as a customers.
Yeah.
Right. So we both need these customers. Both, I mean, the oppositions and the regime, the government, right? So the ruling party. We both need these customers to survive. Without the support, whether it's an active support or passive support, there is no way we can survive, right? Then the question is, where we as an opposition failing to convince the customers to buy our product? Or another question is, do we have any product at all? So you are talking about narratives, which are, all of them are correct. Those narratives are, I don't know, freedom or liberty is I don't know, disguised things, unethical things. This is against our values. This is one of the narratives that government orchestrates all the time, propagates all the time. Another narrative, as you said, let's join the Turkic community. So, and then another narrative is, West is all about LGBT, so there is no place for us. So these are the narratives, and unfortunately, the society, to some extent, they buy these narratives, right? What are our narratives are? This is the question. Do we have any narratives to sell the people? I don't see. And imagine in a neighborhood there is only one shop or store market that sells very bad products. It doesn't matter, and there is not going to be change, regardless how often we criticize the market, saying that there are very old products are selling to the society. Nothing gonna change. The society or the neighborhood gonna go and buy the products from there because they don't have alternatives. The thing's gonna change when we offer something different. Unless we are not offering it, I think blaming the nation, society, not gonna change anything. It's not gonna work. All the time we have to consider society as our customers. They are not buying our ideas. The question is, why not? We have to change our strategy. We have to change the way we are thinking. We have to change, not the society. We have to change in a way that we can, I would say, convince the society for change. Whatever happens in the society in a negative way, this is our failure. We should take blame for that, not the society. This is mostly the last thing I wanted to say today, Artman. Thank you very much for this opportunity. And it was, for me, the first time I'm talking to Azerbaijani, for the Azerbaijani, let's say, audience in English. It feels a little bit strange, but I think it's a nice thing. Thank you for this opportunity. I really appreciate that.
Do you hear me, Nahid Bey?
Yes, I do now. Yes.
Unfortunately, I don't know. My image disappeared. But anyway, thank you very much for accepting this invitation. I think that it is worth doing these programs maybe regularly. I know that it's difficult to find time and to speak and to have time. Today is Sunday. Probably you want to spend time more with your family. But I just and thank you for accepting this invitation. I would thank all those who supported us. I see that there are lots of positive comments, and it is in English, and I said it's in even French, so that there is audience that we can talk. We see that around 50, 60 people watch this program, so that we can do it. 50, tomorrow will be 100,000, and we will reach more people. Thanks again. It was long program. We started with the Azeri language, then we switched to English. Thank you, Nahid Bey. It was a great pleasure having you in our
same, Artman. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.
Thank you.